Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. Tonight, the Tigers continue their 10-game road trip. It is a nice night for baseball here in Minneapolis as we welcome you to Target Field this evening. Game 2 in the series featuring the Detroit Tigers and the Minnesota Twins. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba alongside Rod Allen. Glad to have you with us here for Game 2 in the series. Now, most of you may have heard today that our friend and colleague Kirk Gibson has been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, Rod, and we both know you're a former teammate of Gibby's, and he's going to meet this thing head on.
Oh, there's no question about that. And our thoughts and prayers go out to Kirk Gibson, who's a member not only of the Tigers family, but also Fox Sports Detroit. We'll be rooting for him, and we want to see him back at the ballpark.
All right, now baseball moves on, and so does tonight's game. We have Game 2 in the series. The Tigers really have done good work this year against Minnesota.
They really have. This Minnesota Twins team, for whatever reason last year, they really played the Tigers tough. As a matter of fact, they won the season series, but not this season. The Tigers have come out with both guns ablazing. They've played awfully tough against Minnesota. They've beat them all 4 of their meetings.
All right, now last night the key was a big 4-run first inning, couple of big bats. Jose Iglesias homered the ball game last night. We expected Cespedes to do it, but those two guys have been really good.
You know, not a lot of people talking about Max Scherzer and Rick Porcello because of the fact that Iglesias has come back after missing all of last year. And then you have Cespedes coming over here, who would be a number 3 hitter on most teams, but he bats 6th on the Tigers. Iglesias, he is just getting a lot of strikes, and he is hitting the ball all over the ballpark, whether it be right field, center field, homer to left field yesterday. Very aggressive on the base path. And you know what he does defensively. Yoenis Cespedes, I did not realize how good this guy was, but he plays both sides of the ball. He's got mad power to all fields. Most of his power is to left field. He's a very good defensive player. He hasn't stolen many bases. He really hasn't had to. Brad hasn't had to use him in that fashion, but you're talking about a couple of guys that are right in the middle of everything the Tigers do from an offensive standpoint.
All right, how about the pitching? Tonight it'll be Anibal Sanchez on the mound. Now, he had a stretch in 2 starts where he really struggled, but his last time out, he showed some progress.
You know, they found a flaw in his delivery. He wasn't turning his back far enough, which meant that he was not allowing the arm to catch up, but now the arm is catching up. And in his last start against the Yankees, he was pretty good. 6 in the 3rd innings, 1 earned run. He had 8 strikeouts, but he did walk 4 in the game. One thing the Minnesota Twins have not been able to do since Anibal Sanchez has put on the Tigers uniform, they really have not had a whole lot of success against him. He moves that fastball around at about 95 miles an hour. You know about the secondary pitches. He got a nice slider, he's got a curveball, and he's got a legitimate swing and miss changeup.
All right, we're glad to have you with us tonight. After a short break, we'll send you back to the Call Sam Studios, check in with Johnny Kane. But coming up in this one tonight, the Minnesota Twins have beaten everybody in the Central except the Tigers. The Tigers trying to keep that string going. Tigers-Twins, Game 2, next.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Souvenir baseball for a Twins fan here. At least, who knows? He's got a Spartan hat on, and he's got to be one pumped up little child today. Here's the starting lineup for the Detroit Tigers today, presented by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. It'll be Anthony Gose leading it off for the Tigers, followed by Ian Kinsler and Miguel Cabrera. Victor Martinez, your DH. JD is in right field. Cespedes is in left, and your bottom three tonight features Avila, Castellanos, and the red-hot Jose Iglesias, and they will take their swings tonight against right-hander Mike Pelfrey.
And Pelfrey in his last start probably pitched the best game in a Minnesota Twins uniform against the Kansas City Royals. He shut them out in 7 innings, giving up just 5 hits. He's got a fastball that tops out at about 95. He's got a splitter that he's throwing more of these days. He also has a slider, a curveball, and a cutter. Let's take a look at the Minnesota Twins starting defense. It's always presented to you by Tim Hortons in the outfield. They've got Arcia, Schaefer, Hunter, Plouffe, Santana, Escobar, Mauer in the infield. Escobar is at second base today. Brian Dozier, their everyday second baseman, has no success against Anibal Sanchez.
Paul Molitor, the manager of the Minnesota Twins, in his first year skippering this ball club. The Twins come into play tonight with an overall record of 8 wins and 11 defeats. Anthony Gose getting set to start things off for the Tigers in what has turned out to be a very nice night for baseball here in Minneapolis. By the way, stay tuned for Tigers Live following the game tonight. We'll be selecting our Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game. It is presented by the 2 for $5 Classic Quarter Pounder with cheese. Who will that be? There were a couple of candidates last night. Anthony Gose, well, he'll settle in here this evening to get this thing started.
And Gose back in his familiar leadoff spot today against the right-hander Mike Pelfrey. Ian Kinsler led off last night against the left-hander.
Pelfrey is 31 years of age. Born in Ohio, and he is set to go to work. Here we go. The first pitch of tonight's ball game. It's driven down the left field line, but foul. 0-1 on Anthony Gose. Gose a couple of walks in last night's game out of the 9 spot in the Tigers lineup. Was 0 for 2 overall. .319 batting average, 1 home run this year. That was off of Corey Kluber. There's a strike.
That's a good four-seam fastball there thrown by Pelfrey on the inner half of home plate. And to get the call from the home plate umpire, Dan Bellino. There was a time when Pelfrey, he kind of hung around 95, 96 miles an hour, but he will touch that every now and then, but he's usually 90 to 92 these days.
Back in the early part in his career, he was a former #1 pick.
Big time prospect.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Anthony Gose. And Gose sends a ground ball slowly towards short. They're going to have to hurry. Santana, quick toss, and out at first base. Nicely done by Danny Santana.
He had to hurry because of the speed of Gose running down the line. And Gose pretty much had 1 step in his back pocket when that ball was made contact with, and just a do-or-die play by their new shortstop this year, Danny Santana.
1 out, and that'll bring up Ian Kinsler. Ian 1 out of 5 in last night's ball game. 9 multi-hit games this year, which is the 2nd best total in the American League.
He's already touched home plate 15 times this year, Ian Kinsler.
I would say, Rod, it's a pretty good bet he'll get to 100 again this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet against that for sure.
He has done that 5 times in his career. Here's the 1-0. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes on Ian. Pelfrey, pretty good outing his last start against the Royals. His first win, as a matter of fact. He went 7 shutouts in that game. Bouncing ball to third on the backhand there, Trevor Plouffe. 2 up, 2 down.
That is something that Pelfrey is getting a lot more of these days, getting a lot more ground balls than he has in the past with that real good 2-seamer. He's a tall guy, so when he gets to the proper arm slot and he releases the ball the way that he's supposed to, he gets a lot of movement down in the strike zone, therefore a lot of ground balls.
Here is graphical proof of what you are telling us. This season, his ground ball percentage 61%, which is way up over the rest of his career. Cabrera looks at ball 1. 2 out, nobody on, just underway from Minneapolis. Miggy batting .375. He walked in last night's ball game, finished 1 for 3. And there's a ball inside. 2-0 the count. Cabrera's batting average is 3rd best in the AL. He'll take the 2-0. It's in there for a strike. Fastball from Pelfrey. Here's the 2-1. Make it 2-2 now on Miguel.
And Miggy left the strike zone. He helped out Pelfrey there with a 93-mile-per-hour four-seam fastball upstairs.
Tigers in the ball game last night yet again reached the double digits in the hit column. They had 11 hits in last night's game. Let's pop up first base side. Mauer in foul ground, and Pelfrey has himself an easy 1-2-3 inning for the Twins in the bottom of the first. Tonight is presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Anibal Sanchez making his 5th start of the 2015 campaign. Checks in 1-2 with an ERA is a lot higher than we're accustomed of seeing from Anibal Sanchez, but the league is only hitting .241 against him, but it's the 5 homers that he has given up this year.
Here's the starting 9 he will face, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. It'll be Danny Santana in the leadoff slot. Then Torrey Hunter, Joe Mauer. Kloof will clean up. Nunez, the DH. Escobar at second tonight. Dozier gets the night off. Arcia, Suzuki, Schaefer in the bottom 3 spots. Schaefer good numbers this year against the Tigers. Sanchez goes to work on Danny Santana.
Santana also batted 9th in yesterday's game, elevated back to that number 1 spot today with Brian Dozier, their second baseman, getting the night off, at least at the beginning of this contest.
Santana has been struggling, had a couple of hits in last night's ball game.
Paul Molitor, the manager of the Minnesota Twins, also realizes that Santana is able to get on first base. He can steal second base, one of the things that Sanchez continues to work on, and that's shutting down the running game. So it's still work in progress.
Yeah, but they got to get him on base first. Here's the 0-2, and he looks at strike 3. And that's been something Santana has struggled with this year, the strikeouts.
Let's take a look at the Tigers starting defense presented by Bill Fox Chevrolet. It's the same that it reads just about every single night. Cespedes, Ghost, J.D. Martinez in the outfield. Iglesias and Kinzer up the middle. Castellanos and Miguel on the corners. 5 consecutive games without an error for the Tigers. They've only committed 6 total this year, fewest in the American League.
Remember when there was a time where the Tigers really struggled to catch the ball?
Couldn't catch a cold. No, they weren't that bad.
They weren't quite that bad, but awfully close. Boy, they've been catching it with regularity this year. swing and a miss by Torrey on a half swing.
It's amazing what an addition of a guy like Iglesias, and then you got a center fielder like Ghost, and you have a left fielder like Cespedes. You have Castellanos, who's getting better over at third base.
Here's the 0-2. Hunter swings and misses. He leaves the strike zone, and there are 2 gone.
Anibal Sanchez can spot his fastball at about 93 to 95 wherever he wants to. He works all 4 quadrants of the strike zone, as well as Kurt Schilling. Kurt Schilling used to be a tremendous command guy with his fastball. Sanchez reminds me of Kurt Schilling, the way that he can command his four-seam fastball.
Here is Joe Mauer now with 2 outs, a couple of strikeouts for Sanchez. Mauer looks at strike 1. Anaheim beat the Twins back on April 8th. 6 2/3 scoreless baseball, 3-hit baseball, and he struck out 6 in that game. Mauer waits on the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Tigers have outscored the Minnesota Twins 27-5 in the first 4 games of their season series this year.
And if you go back to last year, they won 5 in a row against Minnesota. Although Brad Ausmus was not real keen on the sharpness in which his team played last night. There's a chopper hit to second. Kinsler with an easy play, and Sanchez with an easy first inning. Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. When it's time, come to Comerica. Dodge, come in for the high-powered deals during the Dodge Awards season event. And by Javalia, 150 years of crafting rich, never bitter coffee. Back here at Target Field, no score in this one. Top of the 2nd inning, a much calmer start to this one tonight than we had last night. The Tigers got 4 in the 1st inning last night. Twins answered with 1. Strike is called on Victor Martinez, who leads it off. Martinez, then J.D. Martinez, and then Yoenis Cespedes. 1 for 3 last night. Walk and a run scored for Victor. The shift is on defensively to the right side of the infield, and he looks at a strike.
And there's that split-fingered fastball that Pelfrey has started to throw quite a few of these days.
Pelfrey had elbow surgery last year, limiting him to just 5 starts. He's come back and really done some good work in the early goings here. That's pulled foul.
He's got a lot of confidence in his fastball. He's already thrown several fastballs inside. He crowded Miggy with a fastball inside. Miggy popped up to And Joe Mauer, the first baseman, to end the first inning, and Victor, he's already thrown him 2 fastballs inside.
Martinez now has hit safely in his last 3. Pelfrey has gone ahead 0-2. Swing and miss. Down he goes. Got some hitters leaving the strike zone early in this game. First strikeout for Pelfrey.
And Victor usually does not leave the strike zone. And fastball up by design, called by Kurt Suzuki, the catcher. Executed beautifully, by Pelfrey.
So here is J.D. Martinez, who was 2 for 3 in last night's ball game. And Martinez straightens up 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, if you're Pelfrey and you take a look at the Tigers and how hard they hit the baseball, and when they get their arms extended, whether it be Miggy, Victor, J.D. or Cespedes, they do lots of damage. That's why he's throwing so many pitches inside. There's another fastball inside.
1 ball, 1 strike. Tigers got Tommy Milone early in the ball game last night. As we mentioned, they scored all 5 of the runs in the first 2 innings. But really after that, they were shut down. They had a lot of opportunities.
It's the first time they ever beat Tommy Milone, too.
Here's the 1-1. Had a chance to go down to the locker room after the ball game last night to do some post-game things, and Brad was not real happy with that win last night.
No, there was some base running blunders. I mean, they just didn't really look all that efficient down the stretch, but at the end of the day, they were shaking hands.
They were, and David Price, even after the game last night, felt that he just has to become more consistent. His pitch count was up early, was getting behind hitters, yet when you looked at the final results, it was a win for the Tigers.
He is a perfectionist. And when you strive for perfection, you get excellence.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Martinez. Blown away, 3-2. JD's had a couple of his home runs this year against the Minnesota Twins. 2 out of his 5 against Twins pitching in that first series of the year. Swing and miss to strike him out. Pelfrey 5 up, 5 down. Well, here's our T-Mobile game changer as Yoenis Cespedes strolls to the plate, and he's really been putting up some good numbers. How good? Well, here's a list of guys that have at least a 300 average, 10 or more extra base hits, and 15 or more RBI this year.
Now, who does not belong on that list?
Devin Travis.
How about the year that he is off to?
He's on that list, though.
What a special young man.
Devin Travis, former Tiger prospect who was traded for Anthony Gose. There's a ball outside. And you know, Travis, I think, is certainly opening up some eyes. I'm not sure even the Blue Jays thought he'd be this good early.
Now, Tigers actually had Devin Travis playing some outfield toward the tail end of last year. And because Kinsler had played so well at second base, and Devon had nowhere to go.
Well, he found his way to Toronto, and he's having a really good start. It is a trade that has helped both ball clubs to this point. Cespedes looks at a strike on the outer edge.
And Yoenis Cespedes has just worn out Minnesota Twins pitching. He has hit safely in 18 of 19 career games against Minnesota for a batting average of .380.
It's pretty remarkable. I mean, that's a pretty decent stretch, too. As Pelfrey comes inside and misses.
He is a number 3 hitter on most teams in the major leagues, but he bats 6th on the Tiger squad.
30 for 79 against Minnesota pitching. Chop foul. And I guess it's hard to explain. Brad Ausmus was asked that very question before the game. How do you explain one guy being so hot against one team, and he didn't have an answer? It just happens.
Usually there's a 2 or 3 teams that guys at this level have a lot of success against, and Minnesota just happens to be one of those teams for Cespedes. He's been climbing the ladder a lot with 2 strikes.
Swing and a miss. Got him away that time. Strikes out the side. 1, 2, 3 go the Tigers. of the series, and it's time now for the Bernstein advantage, the pitcher-batter matchup. And here is the current numbers for Sanchez against the current roster for the Twins. He has dominated them.
Yeah, we talked about at the top of the show, they've had very little success against Anaheim.
Here are the numbers to prove it. 171 among their current roster. Sanchez goes to work. He will face Trevor Plouffe to begin things. It'll be Plouffe, Nunez, and then Escobar. 1 for 4 with an RBI last night for Plouffe in the opener. Up and in, and the count now is 2-0. Sanchez picked up a couple of strikeouts and a ground out in the first inning, getting him 1-2-3. Here's the 2-0. Way inside. 3 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, you just don't want to throw a fastball right down the middle here. Plouffe might be one of those guys that's given the green light by his manager, Paul Molitor.
Three and 1. Sanchez had a couple of rocky starts, giving up 14 runs in a 2-start stretch before rebounding last time out. That's hit to the first baseman Cabrera in the air, and he comes back to get Plouffe. 1 away. Hey, the Tigers face the Royals on Sunday, May 10th at 8:05 p.m. and it's Sunday Kids Day and Mother's Day. All kids 14 and under, the first 10,000 moms receive a free Mother's Day tumbler. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or check it out online, tigers.com. One out for Eduardo Nunez. He looks at a strike. Nunez, the DH in this ball game again tonight. I was wondering why in the world would Vargas not be playing, and then I looked at his numbers against right-handed pitching this year. He's really struggling. 3 for 35. Right back up the middle and right by Sanchez, but Kinsler's got his back. 2 gone. 5 in a row retired by Anibal. And we'll bring up Escobar. Pitchers have dominated this one so far. Escobar playing second base in place of Brian Dozier tonight. Dozier is one of their best players. You might ask why. And then you look at his numbers against Anibal. Dozier just 1 for 17. That is flared out toward left and landing foul. So if you're a manager and you're looking to give the guy a blow, then sometimes you look at the matchups, and this was not a good matchup tonight for Dozier. Paul Molitor's team has beaten everybody in the Central with the exception of the Tigers. Tigers 4-0 against the Twins this year. Here's the 0-1. Outer edge, 0-2. That'll bounce in and away from Avila. One thing about Sanchez this year has been really odd is the home runs he's given up. He's already allowed 5 long balls this year, which is 1 more than he gave up all of last season. And we are not out of April yet. Here's the 1-2. Fouled away. 5 up, 5 down so far against Sanchez. We're in the second. And a scoreless ball game. Game 2 of a 3-game set between these two teams. Now the 1-2. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Escobar came on as a pinch hitter last night, was 0 for 1, did not have a very good road trip.
that the Twins just completed. Lifts this one in the air to center field. A lot of room out there for Anthony Gose. He will cruise back to make the play, and it's a 1-2-3 second for Sanchez. Tigers baseball tonight, presented by Bell Tire.
Take a look at the velocity on his fastball the last 5 years. Back in 2011, he was right around 86 miles an hour, but this season, he is up to 91 miles per hour per fastball. So he has gotten healthy, and he's got a lot of confidence in his fastball these days.
Well, and he's looked good so far in this game. He's retired all 6 that he has faced. He struck out the side in the second. And it'll be Alex Avila here in the Tiger third. Avila, Castellanos, and Iglesias. Avila batting 175, 0 for 3 in last night's opener. Backs out of there and a pitch inside, 2-0. Avila's hit 1 home run this year. It came on opening day, and it was against these Minnesota Twins. 2-run shot the other way. Way outside, 3-0.
And Pelfrey is pitching with a lot of confidence these days. His last couple of starts, won a no decision and then a win, were very good. He pitched 7 innings against the Kansas City Royals, and the Kansas City Royals are off to a terrific start this year offensively.
Here's ball 4. 4-pitch walk for Avila. He's aboard. He'll be our first base runner of the game for either side. Got to get Nick Castellanos going, Rod. He's been in a stretch right now where the strikeouts have been up, and I think he just needs a ball game where he gets a couple of knocks and gets it going.
Yeah, he is 3 for his last 24, a 125 batting average with 13 strikeouts. They gave him the night off last night. He came out, took some extra batting practice. So now they're hoping with the night off and the extra batting practice, maybe he's figured out some things.
A couple of homers this year for Castellanos, 7 RBIs. And he looks at strike 1. Nick in that first series against the Twins was held to a 1 for 10. Then he went through a stretch where he heated up a little bit. But the average coming in at 227. Missed inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's Avila, the base runner at first base. 1-1 is hit back up the middle, off the glove of the shortstop Santana into short center. And the first two Tigers have reached. Well, we have a chance now. Let's check in with Justin White.
Hey, Mario, Jose Iglesias doesn't go yard very often, so we're going to make his home run last night our Nissan drive of the game. It came in the first inning, and it was the first home run for Iglesias since September of 2013. And how about this? Iggy taking a page out of Miggy's playbook with the stutter step around third base. Now, I asked Iglesias about it today. This was not spontaneous. It was totally premeditated. And he said, when you don't hit home runs very often, you got to have some fun. By the way, guys, updated career home run totals. Miguel Cabrera, 393. Iglesias, 5.
Got a long way to go. Thanks, J-Dub. Meanwhile, Iglesias has just knocked into a 4-6-3 double play. One of the few times that he's not gotten it done. That'll leave Avila down at third base. How about that little sidestep at third from Iglesias?
Yeah, he's got a little hot dog in him if you haven't noticed yet, Mr. Iglesias. And what Miggy does when he rounds third base, he pretends like he's a tailback or something, and he's taking the ball from the quarterback, so to speak, a little stutter step.
Right. Well, Iglesias imitated him.
Or maybe Miggy would be a fullback.
He'd be more like a fullback, yeah. A bruising fullback. Here's Anthony Ghost now with a man at third. And he tried to drop down a bunt. 0-1. Third baseman Trevor Plouffe in on the grass. Ghost bounced out 6-3 back in the first inning.
Really good play by their shortstop, Santana.
Strike called quickly now, 0-2.
That fastball had a lot of late life on it. Two-seam swing back fastball thrown by Pelfrey.
Now Pelfrey with the 0-2. That time the Tigers hitter did not chase. This Ghost let that one go by. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Leadoff walk and error by the shortstop, but a double play ball has given Pelfrey a chance to get out of this inning.
They get Castellanos an error on that play?
Santana on the Castellanos ground ball.
I thought that should have been a hit.
Yeah, me too. Slice to left field. That's going to drop. Base hit. Well, that's a hit. It's an RBI single for Anthony Ghost. Clutch 2-out knock.
I like the way that Anthony Ghost kind of, settled in here and didn't take a big swing with 2 strikes. Two-seam fastball up, just kind of fought it off to left field for the 2-out ribby.
Nice AB. That'll be the 6th RBI for Ghost. And that is the first hit for either side in this game. Here's Kinsler with 2 outs.
I told you last night that the catchers of the Minnesota Twins have not been very good this year at throwing out the opposing team's base stealers. They've been poor.
Strike call. 1-1 on Kinsler, who grounded out his first time up to the third baseman Plouffe. Ghost being watched closely by Pelfrey. Now he'll finally step off. Anthony 3 out of 4 this year in stolen base opportunities.
Kurt Suzuki is the catcher here tonight, and he hasn't caught anybody yet. Tigers as a team have 22 steals. Only the Houston Astros and the Cincinnati Reds have more than the Tigers.
Here goes the runner. Suzuki's throw is a little bit late. Stolen base. Still hasn't thrown anybody out.
Chevrolet brings you the high-strength steal of the game. Anthony Gose stealing his 4th bag of the year, and now 0 for 14 is Kurt Suzuki. And that's pretty much like a pitch out there. I mean, you can't ask for a better ball thrown by the pitcher if you're the catcher to give you an opportunity to throw out the base stealer.
It's kind of hard to believe we're almost to the month of May and he still hasn't thrown anybody out. Now Kinsler a chance to drive in a run. Missed it outside. 2-1. Tigers get a 2-out hit from Anthony Gose here in the 3rd. They lead 1-0. Here's Pelfrey's 2-1 pitch. Drilled to left field on a line. That ball is hooking foul. A couple of feet foul. 2-2 on Kinsler. Ian this year with 10 RBIs, 9 multiple hit games this year, which is 2nd in the American League, and been pretty good with 2 outs and then in scoring position. 313. Bouncing ball to short. Santana gobbles it up there. And that'll be it for the Tigers. However, they get a run on the 2-out single by Gose. 1-0 Detroit. Sports Detroit Prize Pack Tuesday brought to you by Meyer. Enter at www.foxsportsdetroit.com. You'll be eligible to win a fantastic prize pack any baseball fan would love. So here we go now with Sanchez back on the hill in the bottom of the 3rd. And a wave and a miss.
There's that butterfly changeup.
Oswaldo Arcia has good power. They play him with that shift out to the right side. And Arcia shoots one back up the middle into center. Leadoff single. First hit of the game for the Twins.
And first pitch was an off-speed pitch to Arcia, and he swung right through it. Sanchez came right back with another changeup, and his body told us that he was full, but he kept the bat back, and he hit it right off the end of the bat. For a solid single in the center field.
Here's the catcher, Kurt Suzuki.
Well, you just wonder if Paul Molitor will start to manage a little bit more aggressively against the Tigers. They really have not been able to do anything against the Tigers pitching, and he really hasn't managed all that aggressively. He hasn't put on very many hit and runs.
Here's a bunt, third base side. Castellanos throws out Suzuki. They will advance the tying run to second base. Yeah, when you look at their opportunities, Rod, they really haven't had too many extra base hits. In fact, they've only had 6 extra base hits against the Tigers this year.
And they've got a team that has some speed, so they are going to have to be a team that manufactures runs like they did last year when they scored a bunch of runs. They were a good offensive team last year. Not much power, but they touched home plate a lot.
And at some point, you got to do something. So the Twins now have the tying run as second. Here is Schaefer.
He had a nice night last night. A couple of singles and a double.
Bouncing ball slowly back up the middle. Iglesias will advance the runner to third base. Time for a game breakdown. We check in with Mickey York. Thank you, Mickey. How about those Royals, man? It's going to be a fun series coming up.
The Royals are leading the American League in batting as we speak, so it's a pretty good offensive team. They've always been a good pitching and defensive squad.
Ball missing high to Santana.
And they'll be trying to make an early season statement against the Tigers. The Tigers wore them out last year.
Here are the Central Division standings. They came in a half game behind Detroit. Here's the 1-0. Little pop-up foul down the left field line. Back into seats. 1-1 on Santana, who struck out in the first inning. Santana striking out once about every 3 at bats.
He is chasing a lot of stuff out of the strike zone right now. Not a lot of confidence at all for a guy who last year in his rookie campaign was stellar.
Two balls, one strike.
Here's where you climb the ladder with a good four-seam fastball, and you just force him into popping it up into the shallow outfield. He doesn't have the power to hit it out in the ballpark.
Line drive back up the middle into center. That's going to tie the game. Danny Santana, 2 hits last night and another knock here tonight to make it a 1-1 contest.
And so both leadoff hitters getting it done here today. That's a rocket right past Anibal Sanchez.
And that thing almost hit Anibal. I'm sure Sanchez heard that ball going by. Santana's 4th RBI of the year. Here's Torrey Hunter.
Santana stole 20 bags last year. Was only caught 4 times. He hasn't run that much this season because he really hasn't been on all that frequently, but he'll be on the move here at some point in time. And if you're Brad Ausmus, if you're convinced that Santana's going to run on the first 2 pitches, you may as well pitch out. Get yourself an easy out.
Hunter struck out in the first inning. He'll take one right at the knees for strike 1. Dan Bellino behind the plate tonight. Here are the first pitch strike numbers on Sanchez. How about 9 for 11?
Pretty good.
That one just missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Santana 1 steal. He's been caught once. Bouncer back up the middle. Kinsler, nice play. His only play is to first, and a nice backhanded pick by Miggy.
Heads up play by Ian. Wasn't going to get the out at second, and alertly flipped it over to Miggy, and Miggy was able to pick it.
There's that defense again. Club with a run in the third, and they each with a 2-out knock to get it done. Kinsler made a great play, though, to end the last half inning.
Well, Santana was on first base, and he has really good speed, and he didn't want to force the issue because Iglesias wasn't quite to the bag. So in a flash of a second, decided, you know what, I better go to first base, and got the out there.
Well, you talk about shifting on the fly. I mean, he actually had started forward with his hand to shovel it to second base and then reloaded. It's pretty good. Hard pressed to find a better duo up the middle than Kinsler and Iglesias. Getting some hitting conversation going now with Wally Joyner. 1-1 pitch is cued foul down the first baseline.
And Miggy not picking up that two-seam fastball very well in his first couple of at-bats that Pelfrey is throwing here tonight. It's the second time he's tied up Miggy with that two-seamer. You know, running in his kitchen.
Pelfrey ready with the 1-2. Here it is. Ooh, that was close. Did he go? Negative. Bruce Dreckman down at first base. Pretty close. Cabrera pops it up foul, back out of play. Miguel popped up to the first baseman Mauer in his first at bat. He's 1 for 4 in the series, and now Pelfrey has hit the 50 plateau, 30 of which had been for strikes. Again, the 2-2. Got him that time. Strike 3 call.
That's a nice job of pitching by Pelfrey. Every fastball was inside until the final fastball at 93 on the outside black caught Miggy looking.
Outstanding location for Pelfrey, who painted the corner. And as a result, Cabrera caught looking with 1 out. Here's Martinez. He struck out on a pitch out of the strike zone his first time up. Ball 1 to Victor. Mini 3-game hitting streak for Martinez. That straightens him up. Martinez has had to adjust his ritual a little bit this year. The new rules call for the fact that hitters cannot step out of the box if you do not swing at a pitch. And so Martinez basically just continues his ritual only in the batter's box instead of stepping out. Here's the 2-0. 3-0. You think the new speed-up rules have had any effect on games this year?
No, not really.
I haven't seen a big effect.
I haven't seen a big effect.
Martinez waiting on deck. I don't know what the numbers will bear out at the end of the year, but I don't think it's been dramatic. Three and one on Martinez. JD waiting on deck. Pelfrey struck out the side of the second. He has 4 for the ball game. High fly ball right field. Torrey Hunter is coming in a few steps. And will be on number 2. He'll bring up JD Martinez. JD struck out in the second. .275 batting average now for the Tigers right fielder. There's the strike call.
That's a well located slide piece there at 84.
And JD says, I don't think so. Martinez fouls it away quickly. 0-2. Mentioned Pelfrey spent the first 7 years of his career with the New York Mets. Was 5-13 in 2013 when he signed a free agent contract with the Minnesota Twins. Then of course he had the surgery last year, but he's bounced back nicely, at least at the beginning of this season. Driven toward the gap in right center field. That ball is hit hard. It's going to go up against the wall. Martinez on his way to second, and he will slide in with a double.
And JD Martinez got him a fastball that didn't quite get to the area that Pelfrey wanted it. Pelfrey wanted that ball inside, and it leaked right back over the heart of the dish. And JD Martinez made him pay with his 6th double of the year. Man, does the ball make a different kind of sound off of Martinez's bat.
Hey, just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. So now the Tigers a chance to break this tie. They need a 2-out hit from Cespedes. Ripped down the left field line, foul. Also splintered his bat as well, so he will get a new one. Meanwhile, Pelfrey by inning now, a total of 60. Cespedes, a strikeout victim, his only time up back in the second.
75% of the 60 pitches that Pelfrey has thrown have been fastballs, so that's been the game plan coming in. A lot of fastballs to Tigers hitters, a lot of fastballs inside to tie him up.
Here's the 0-1. Did you see the runners in scoring position numbers that they just showed on Cespedes?
No, I did not.
450. He's knocked in 16 this year, batting over 300, and a chance to drive one in here with 2 outs. There's the 1-1. Little pop up back in the seats.
Tommy Malone started for the Minnesota Twins last night, gave up 2 home runs in the very first inning. Iglesias took him deep, and Cespedes, 3-run home run in the first. Tigers had a 4-run lead before their ace, David Price, even took the mound.
One and two on Cespedes. Pelfrey gave up a run in the third on the 2-out RBI single by Gose. Here's the 1-2. Outside, 2-2. You know, when you see a player from afar, and we've seen Cespedes from afar before this year and playing with Boston in the Athletics, you form an opinion on what kind of player he is. But it's not until you see him every day that you really get a good, solid opinion of him.
You know, Tigers have always had really good pitching. Max and Verlander and some of the other guys, Sanchez, and right-handers, they just don't have their way against Tigers pitching. And they pitched Cespedes very tough when he was wearing that Oakland Athletics uniform.
Ball's hit hard again at deep center field, and over the head of Schaefer up against the 411 marker. To second base goes Cespedes. It's a 2-out RBI double, and the Tigers take the lead.
That is just an absolute seed off the bat of Yoenis Cespedes. And this ball pretty much hit on the line, and it hit the 411 sign in straightaway center field.
Look by Pelfrey pretty much said it all. 7th double of the year for Cespedes, who hits the 411 marker out there in dead center.
And Pelfrey's going to have to readjust his game plan because the Tigers are now looking for that fastball inside.
In there for a strike, 0-1 on Avila. Martinez a double, Cespedes a double, both coming with 2 outs to break the 1-1 tie. Avila walked to start things off in the third and then scored. Way inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Pelfrey had his way through the first 2 innings and then gave up a run in the third, and now he's been touched by a couple of doubles here in the fourth. Here's the 1-1. Two and 1 on Avila, who is in search of a 2-out hit. Alex came in batting 175. $11 walks now for Avila. It's the second highest total on the team. Only Cabrera has walked more. Two and 2. Another foul back at the screen by Avila. Should Alex reach, it'll be Castellanos next. He's lurking in the on-deck circle. Tigers came into this game having scored a major league best 25 runs in the first inning. It took a little bit longer tonight. 1 in the third, 1 here in the fourth. And as Avila takes low to once again fill the count 3-2. And if you count tonight's numbers, the Tigers now have outscored the Twins 29-6 this season. The 3-2. There's another walk for Avila, his second of the ball game. 3 straight batters have reached following the first 2 outs.
It was very clear that Pelfrey, with the base open, really wasn't going to give Avila a whole lot to hit, with Castellanos struggling the way that he's been struggling lately.
Neil Allen comes trotting out there, pitching coach. Meanwhile, Paul Molitor begins to pace.
Neil Allen's old school guy, and he's one of the reasons why several of the Minnesota Twins starting pitchers have really started to pitch inside a little bit more aggressively, even though most of them don't have mid-90s fastballs.
Hey fans, don't forget the only way to get an Allen Trammell 1984 replica road jersey is to purchase an exclusive ticket package to see the Tigers battle the Royals May 8th through the 10th. Packages are available only at tigers.com/jersey. Score yourself a Tram number 3 jersey. Had a chance to catch up with Sweet Lou Whitaker, his double play partner, over the weekend, the Negro Leagues weekend at the ballpark. It was a thrill.
I think Lou enjoyed the love that was showered upon him that weekend.
I think so. He really seemed to enjoy the luncheon and the Q&A session they had at the ballpark. He came on the air with us, and what could be better than that?
No, he was all in.
2 on here and 2 outs. Castellanos reaching on an error in his first at bat. Way outside. 2 balls, no strikes. All of a sudden, it's become a struggle for Pelfrey. Nick sitting pretty here, 2-0 with 2 men on. And he had a good rip, fouled it straight back. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And the Tigers second time through, batting .364 against Pelfrey, and .250 first time through for Pelfrey, and the third time through is pretty good, but it's that second time where they're sitting right now that's been an issue for him.
That was Pelfrey's 30th pitch of this inning, and all of this after the first 2 men were retired. 2-2 on Castellanos. So this inning has driven the pitch count up for the Twins right-hander. Slow roller back up the middle. Santana will tag the bag for the out. They'll get the force. That'll end the inning. Tigers break the tie. Doubles. First Martinez, then Cespedes. 2-1 Detroit. Splendid night for baseball here in Minneapolis. And the active batting average leaders against right-handed pitching, well, you've got these two guys in the ballpark tonight. And Joe Mauer at 330, Cabrera 322. And here is Mauer to start things off in the fourth. He'll be followed by Plouffe and then Nunez. First one is outside. 1 ball, no strikes on Mauer, who bounced out to the second baseman his first time up. Joe has been on base in 16 of the 19 that the Twins have played in this year. And Sanchez missing away 2-0. Mauer is the Twins leader in hits with 21 and RBIs with 9, which kind of gives you an indication of how much they've been struggling offensively. Their team leader has 9. There's a strike, 2-1. Tigers team leader has 17. That would be Cespedes. Swing and a miss. 2-2 now on Joe Mauer. Mauer's always done good work against the Tigers. 314 lifetime against Detroit pitching. He almost cued that one fair, but foul down the line. Nice play there. Two and two on Joe Mauer. Got him, strike 3. I was going to say, where was that? But it was a strike, and Sanchez catches him looking.
And Sanchez has the ability to throw all 4 of his pitches with 2 strikes, and he comes back with a good slider there. And Joe didn't agree with it, but he's punched out by Dan Bellino.
He thought it was low, and it was borderline. But Sanchez gets the call.
3rd strikeout of the night for Anibal.
Here is Trevor Plouffe with 1 away. Ball 1 to Plouffe, who popped up in his first at bat. He led the Twins last year in RBIs with a total of 80. Off the glove to the backstop it goes. 2-0.
Come on, big hitter.
(3-0) now on Plouffe. Nunez waiting on deck. Tigers have taken the lead on the back-to-back doubles in the top of this inning. Sanchez with the 3-0. He's swinging, and he popped it up. Shallow right field. Kinsler is under it. Finally nestles into his glove.
The second time tonight that Trevor Plouffe has been up there in a 3-0 count. He didn't swing at the 3-0 pitch the first time up, and Sanchez was able to come back and get him. That time, not a really good swing at that 3-0 fastball.
We'll bring up Nunez. Eduardo is 0 for 1 with a ground out. He'll slap that one back out of play. We're talking about Nunez getting the start at DH again here tonight. Kenny Vargas only 3 for 35 against right-handed pitching. Has struggled mightily. He's a guy that we thought would be a fixture in their lineup.
He performed very well for Minnesota second half of the season when he was called up from Double-A. You have to wonder if they're entertaining the thought of maybe sending Vargas down to the minor leagues. And they're not going to get him going by sitting him on the bench.
Vargas does give the Twins something that they don't have a whole lot of, and that's power.
And he's got a lot of that.
Here's the 0-1. Nunez fouls it away. No balls and 2 strikes. Pretty good spring this year for Nunez, 327. Play the outfield, play the infield. As you look at the numbers on Sanchez.
Well, the two guys that had the best springs for them, Nunez and Escobar, the on-deck hitter. But once the season started, they were both on the bench.
In the air toward left center. Cespedes calling for it. It'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Anibal Sanchez. 4 in the books. Tigers up by a run. Official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price period. Bell Tire. Myers, save big with M-Perks from Myers. Sign up at mperks.com. And by Chevrolet, find new roads. We find ourselves in a 2-1 ball game here as we go now to the top of the 5th inning. Target field, and Pelfrey goes back to the mound. Facing Jose Iglesias to begin things. Jose bounced one to the second baseman his first time. He'll do the same thing here. And it's a 4-3 ground out, 1 gone. 0 for 2 for Iglesias. Now the top of the lineup, Anthony Gose. The encouraging thing here about the Tigers tonight is both of their runs have come with 2 outs. Gose single to drive 1 in. And then Cespedes a double to drive 1 in the 4th. Well, on a 2 tonight for Gose. He also has a ground out to go with a single.
That swing right there by Gose way too big. He's not a power hitter. No need in really taking big swings like that. More often than not, you're going to come up empty.
In there for a strike.
That's a good splitter. And that Pelfrey's throwing a lot of these days, along with the 2-seamer. You can see he grips it before he delivers the pitch.
Ooh, that was a good one. Here's the 0-2. He'll get foul back out of play. I assume they grip it first, because if you try and grip it later, you'll probably tip the pitch.
You will. I mean, once you put it in your glove and you're trying to find that grip that you use to throw your splitter, hitters can detect that you're reaching in there for that trick pitch. It's also why he holds his glove fan wide open the way that he does.
Gose stays alive.
It's also a lot easier if you have that split-fingered fastball grip when you start and you're taking your sign from your catcher, as he is doing right now. Then when you put it in your glove, it's a lot easier to change it to your slider grip or your fastball grip. He's going to continue to throw the splitter here.
Swing and a miss. Gose retired. 2 gone.
lot of times when they put it in the glove, they can change the grip, but he didn't do it that time. This is the best that we have seen Pelfrey pitch against the Tigers in the last couple of years.
No doubt. He has 5 strikeouts now for the Twins. Well, he retired the first 2 in the 4th inning before the Tigers got something started. We'll see if they can do the same here in the 5th.
And Pelfrey's always been known as a relentless worker. One of those guys that gets to the ballpark early. Bulldog out there.
A couple of ground balls for Ian Kinsler. He's 0 for 2. Low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, let's see if the conversation that Ian was having with the hitting coach, Wally Joyner, pays off in this at-bat. He's got him right where he wants him. 2 balls, 1 strike. Predictable fastball count.
In the air, shallow left center. The center fielder Schaefer is under it, and it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Belfry. Tigers baseball tonight on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Inning now at Target Field. Tigers holding on to a 2-1 lead. They have out-hit the Twins tonight, 3-2. Back to the mound goes Sanchez. He will face Eduardo Escobar to lead it off, and Oswaldo Arcia and Kirk Suzuki. Sanchez brings it home, and he misses. 1 ball, no strikes on Escobar. He flied out to center field his only time. Anibal had a 1-2-3 4th inning. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Big rip there by Escobar. 1-1. 2 for his last 16 is Escobar. Pretty good numbers last year for Minnesota. Hit back up the middle. Kinsler, a couple steps to his right.
Since you caught up with the Comerica Bank game summary, Tigers got on the board first with 2 outs. It was Anthony Goes with a solid single. The opposite way, plating Avila. The Minnesota Twins didn't take long to counter. They also got a base hit from their leadoff hitter. That would be Danny Santana. He drove in the only run they have scored today. And then back-to-back doubles, one by JD, the other one by Yoenis Cespedes. And the Tigers are leading in this contest 2-1.
It's been a tight one all night long as Sanchez comes back home and throws a strike. Oswaldo Arcia, the batter.
Sanchez pitch count in outstanding shape. He's only thrown 50. He's got 1 out in the 5th.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Line drive to left, and it's going to be one hopped out there by Cespedes. So against the shift, Arcia goes the other way.
Really nice play by Yoenis Cespedes in the outfield, who thought about coming to get it. He thought about coming to get it, took a couple of hard steps, and he said, you know what, not going to get there, but I have to make sure I keep the ball in front of me. That's how you do it.
Let's see, 2 for 2 night for Arcia. He's the tying run. With one out as Suzuki stands in. Not a whole lot of offense tonight. Both teams now have 3 hits. That is all. Up and in. Suzuki, a nice sacrifice bunt in his first at bat.
Suzuki has grounded into 4 double plays already this year, and that leads their team.
The 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Well, Sanchez certainly would like one here. Working against the bottom of a Twins lineup and protecting a 2-1 lead. Here's the 1-1. Runner goes. Bouncing ball foul, third base side.
Here's our high-speed pitch, and it's always brought to you by Xfinity. Anibal Sanchez has gotten up to 94 here this evening. Most of his fastballs have been 90 to 92, but he can get up to 95 whenever he wants to.
He is ahead of Suzuki. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fouled back out of play. Well, Suzuki got off to such a great start last year for the Minnesota Twins. Had 19 RBIs in the month of April. Hit over 300. It has been a much different start for Suzuki this year. Veteran catcher that's been around a while, broke into the Oakland Athletics. High pickoff down there at first base. Here's what we're talking about. Through April 27th last year, the numbers much better. Batting average almost 100 points higher than last year. The 1-2. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. On deck, number 9 hitter Jordan Schaefer. Sanchez had retired 5 straight prior to the single by Oswaldo Arcia. The 2-2. Soft line drive to center, base hit. That will move Arcia to second base, and now the Twins have something going. Hey, by the way, as you know, it's April in the D on Fox Sports Detroit. We invite you to join us again tomorrow for round 1, game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Red Wings take on the Lightning. Our coverage begins at 6:30 with Red Wings Live. Red Wings Lightning game 7 tomorrow right here on Fox Sports Detroit.
And Red Wings have been going to the playoffs every year since 1991.
Pretty good. 24 consecutive seasons. Here's Schaefer now. It's more than pretty good. It's really good. Schaefer bounced out his first time up. Ball 1 high. Castellanos in tied at third base, which opens up the left side of the infield a little bit for Schaefer.
As you can imagine, Schaefer with pretty good speed. He's their center fielder. He has yet to ground into a double play this year.
Always the first time for everything.
Well, this Tigers middle infield. You've got that right.
Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss. Danny Santana lurking on deck. Sanchez trying to pitch out of a jam here in the 5th, protecting a 2-1 lead. Schaefer snapped an 0 for 21 last Friday. That's kept his average below 200. Flares this one in the air, left side of the infield. To the grass goes Iglesias, but he is called away by Cespedes. 2 outs, runners hold. 1 more out to get now for Sanchez here in the 5th. It's Danny Santana. 60 now for Hannibal. The strikes to balls ratio really good. Santana had a single. It came with 2 outs in the 3rd. It plated their only run. Bouncing ball, first base side, foul. No balls, 1 strike. Sanchez in search of his 2nd win of the season, trying to lower that ERA, which took a hit. But he gave up 9 runs 2 starts ago against the White Sox. Much improved in his last start and looking very efficient and sharp tonight. Here's the 0-1. Line drive to right, base hit, gonna drop. Let's see if they try and score Arcia. They're gonna hold him. Now he's coming home. Here's the throw to the plate, and he's out by 1.5 miles.
Oh, what a mistake, man.
The fans aren't gonna like that. Arcia, a little hesitant around 3rd. It looked like they were holding him up, but he ran right through it. The Tigers still lead by 1. Ballpark, and of course, as you may have heard earlier today, Tigers fans, our colleague and our friend Kirk Gibson was diagnosed. It was announced with Parkinson's disease. Rod, I know that you and I both feel the same way about Gibby. He's going to give this his best shot.
There's no question about that, and our thoughts and prayers go out with the entire Gibson family. We're hoping that he can get back out to the ballpark this year.
Kirk had this statement a little bit earlier today. With the support of my family and friends, I'll meet this challenge with the same determination and unwavering intensity that I've displayed in all of my endeavors, and we certainly hope to see Gibby back at the ballpark really soon as he battles Parkinson's disease. And Gibby, we're thinking about you. In the meantime, it's 2-1 as we go to the 6th.
Pelfrey has given Miguel Cabrera a steady diet of good, hard, 2-seam fastballs inside all night long.
He's got him a couple of times, pop up and a strikeout.
Yeah, Miggy hasn't taken good swings today. And you don't say that very often regarding Miguel Cabrera, regardless of who the opposing pitcher is.
Pelfrey back home with the 1-0. 2-0. It'll be Cabrera, Victor, and then JD. Miggy waits on the 2-0.
Here's what I'm talking about regarding Pelfrey going after Miguel. As Menard brings you the big money encounter. Everything that he's throwing to Miggy is that good hard fastball inside. He popped him up his first time up. Then he got him inside a couple different times and finished him off with a good hard fastball away for strike 3. So he's been dealing today against Miguel.
High fly ball to right. Ballpark will hold it though. Hunter is on the ropes. Miggy is 0 for 3 in this ball game. There's activity in the bullpen. Stuffer and Thielbar.
And we saw Stuffer last night.
Saw a lot of them. He came on, got a big double play in the 5th. And they finally took him out in the 7th. So Pelfrey now will face Victor Martinez. Victor is 0 for 2. Fly out, strikeout. And he looks at strike 1. Pelfrey pitched his college ball at Wichita State. Before he was a high draft choice of the New York Mets. First round pick of the Mets back in 05. Oh, and 2. Pelfrey took over the slot in the rotation, the 5 slot of the rotation, once it was announced that Ervin Santana would be suspended at the start of the year. And that was something that obviously Rod could not have helped and did not help this Twins team, at least attitude-wise, coming into the year.
No, he was their number 2 starter behind Phil Hughes. They were hoping to get 200 innings out of Ervin Santana, which is exactly what he's done the last number of years.
Here's the 1-2. Chopper slowly to the right side. And Martinez is out. 2 gone.
That is the third baseman that made that play, Trevor Plouffe. Goes 5-3 for keeping score.
2 gone now for JD Martinez. This is kind of a recurring theme here for Paul Molitor, as the team has had trouble scratching out runs,
especially against the Tigers.
They have 1 run on 5 hits tonight.
He hadn't had many reasons to smile in the 5 games they've gone up against Detroit.
Pulled down the left field line, but it's going to hook foul.
Yeah, but he was some kind of player. Over 3,000 hits, 500 steals. Had some quick hands. Didn't stride at all, Paul Molitor.
He once finished second to Lou Whitaker in the Rookie of the Year voting in the American League. 7 All-Star games, a really decorated player. Ron Gardenhire had been such a fixture here in Minnesota. 13 seasons as their manager. That reign came to an end this year. The 0-1 is fouled away. 0-2.
And Pelfrey threw 99 pitches in the 7 innings of work 5 days ago against the Kansas City Royals. He is now closing in on 99. 99. It represents the highest total he's thrown this year.
Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Pelfrey has himself a 1-2-3 inning and 6 strikeouts. Here comes the bottom of the 6th.
Santana having a really nice night. He singled sharply in the right field. Gene Glenn, the third base coach, Oswaldo Arcia was running from second base. He literally stopped and then started running again. He was thrown out by 10 feet.
Hey, look at dismay on the face of Oswaldo Arcia. Big play. That was the tying run. And it's still 2-1 Detroit as Torrey Hunter leads it off in the bottom of the sixth.
That's the fourth outfield assist already this year for J.D. Martinez.
Pretty good. Mauer and Plouffe to follow. Slow tap. It's going to be Sanchez to make the play. Fires a bullet to first. Torrey's had a tough series.
Torrey didn't look good in the 3 games at the Comerica Park at the beginning of the year, and he's off to a really slow start this year overall.
Meanwhile, Sanchez cruising along. Here is Joe Mauer to stand in. Mauer is 0 for 2 in this game. He has struck out and grounded out. That is in for strike 1. Among the active hitters in baseball, Mauer has a .319 average. Only Miguel Cabrera has a better career average at .320. So the top 2 among actives in the ballpark tonight. 0-2 on Mauer, who perked up in their series against Seattle prior to the start of this series. But only 1 for 6 against Tigers pitching. The 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Royals won again. They beat Cleveland 11-5.
The Royals just keep on rolling. Ed Yost has those boys believing, doesn't he?
He sure does. Here's the 1-2. Lifted toward left to the corner. Cespedes still coming over. Nice running play by Cespedes.
Not a lot of foul territory once the ball gets down toward left field, and Yoenis Cespedes was starting to realize that and start tiptoeing as he got over there to make that grab. That wall not going to lose many battles.
Not even against Cespedes. No. As strong as he is.
Yeah, he can walk around with his chest poked out all he wants to. It ain't going to help running into that wall.
Here's Plouffe now with 2 outs. There's a strike called on Trevor. A couple of pop-ups for Plouffe. Tigers tonight have been out hit 5-3, but they lead 2-1. One ball, 1 strike. Plouffe now 1 for 6 so far in the series. Wave and a miss.
Plouffe has a different stance than most guys in the big leagues. He stands straight up and down. Usually guys have a little bit of give, a little bit of bend in their knees, which puts them on the balls of their feet, a more athletic position, but he has more of a softball stance, straight up and down. He spreads out a little bit more with 2 strikes.
So as a hitting instructor, you would not teach this stance.
You don't see many guys doing it. It works for him, but he's in his 2-strike approach now. I don't think he'll stride anymore, just simply pick the foot up and put it back down.
2-2.
We saw someone else on the homestand that stood straight up and down. Brian McCann of the New York Yankees,
right,
stands straight up and down.
Got him. Strike 3. Sanchez catches Plouffe looking. 1, 2, 3, 6th inning. Manuel Sanchez cruising along. That's his 4th strikeout. 14-6, both of those ball clubs. The Tigers, however, have the lead here tonight, 2-1. Chicago kind of hanging around. They're trying to get back up to the 500 mark and then over. Yoenis Cespedes leads it off. Pelfrey back out there in the 7th, and it's a strike in the outside corner.
And Pelfrey's done a pretty nice job in the first pitch department as far as strikes are concerned. And he is now 16 of 24. The Chicago White Sox just want to play a game.
Good point.
They're in Baltimore right now. In the last couple of days, they've had their games postponed due to some of the rioting that's going on in Baltimore.
1 ball, 1 strike. Cespedes to be followed by Avila and Castellanos. Here's the 1-1. Fly ball right field, hit pretty good. But Hunter will measure it halfway onto the warning track. Well, you touched on it. Here's what's going on with the Sox and the Royals. Tonight's game has been postponed for the 2nd consecutive day. Tomorrow afternoon's game will be played, but it's going to be closed to the public, so that's going to be an odd scene at Oriole Park.
It's going to be very odd.
I mean, I know they did a minor league game a couple of years ago. That's an afternoon game.
The Orioles are going to televise the game.
They had a minor league game a couple of years ago that was played in front of no fans. I don't remember the circumstances there, but it's got to be hard to find any emotion in that game when there are no fans. Strike 1, the call on Avila.
There won't be anybody get booed tomorrow.
No, that is true. Here's the 0-1 pitch. There's a strike call.
Pelfrey has thrown a really good game tonight against one of the best offenses in baseball. Tigers really have not been able to do a whole lot against Pelfrey. This is the best I've seen him since he's put on a Minnesota Twins uniform.
And it's taken a couple of 2-out hits to give the Tigers their 2 runs in this game. Avila would not chase that fastball up 1-2.
And some of the people that we talked to before the game that follow this Twins team on a day-to-day basis, they told us that Pelfrey is pitching as well as anybody in their rotation.
Tried to thread the needle there, could not do it. 2-2. Still throwing that fastball at 94. Sitting at 105 pitches right now is Pelfrey. Here's the 2-2. Got him, strike 3 that time in the inside corner. Avila didn't like it.
That is the 4th strikeout. 5th total strikeout looking today by both squads.
If you're Avila, you want to argue. You really want to give the home plate umpire a piece of your mind, but you have to be careful because you want that same call for your pitch. Pelfrey now has 7 strikeouts. Here's Castellanos. Oh for 2 for Nick. 0-1. Here's Pelfrey's 0-1 pitch. Nick takes low.
One more strikeout for Pelfrey and he will equal a career high of 8. The last time he did that was back in 2012. Well, April of 2012.
Here's the 1-1. High fly ball right field. Torrey Hunter going back. He is to the warning track to make the catch. So it'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Pelfrey. 7 strikeouts tonight. He's looked good, but the Tigers have the lead.
spotted his fastball well. He's thrown 56% of his total pitches have been fastballs. He's climbed the ladder with it. He's worked efficiently on the outside corner to the left-handers. And then once he got him looking for that fastball, then he simply went to some of the slow stuff. The breaking ball, the changeup. They really haven't done a lot tonight against Anibal Sanchez, but really they haven't done much against Sanchez since he's put on a Tigers uniform.
Anibal goes back to work as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning, 2-1 in favor of Detroit. Eduardo Nunez leading things off. And Sanchez delivers a strike on the outer edge. 1 ball, 1 strike. Numbers on Anibal. All of his hits tonight are singles. No base on balls. Back up the middle. Into center field. So Nunez is aboard. Tying run on now for Minnesota.
Second baseman Eduardo Escobar.
Here's Eduardo Escobar. A 140 batting average for Escobar, courtesy of his 0 for 2 tonight.
Well, you wonder if he's up there bunting. He's struggling so much. They may as well bunt a runner into scoring position.
He's got to be, don't you think?
Well, I would think so.
Castellanos believes he will. He's on the grass.
He doesn't have a sacrifice bunt this year, but he's not an everyday player right now either.
The Twins got their first run on a single, a sack, and a base hit.
Yeah, they played some situational baseball to get that 1 run.
Now time is called. Sanchez taking too long. Tigers now have been out hit 6-3.
Nunez on first base has no steals this year. He's been caught once. They only have 5 as a team.
Pulled it back. 1 ball, no strikes. Sanchez only has 77 pitches in this game. Pitch count's been in great shape all night long.
Come on, let's go.
Escobar waiting on the 1-0 as Avila flashes signs. Again, he shows bunt, and again he yanks it back. 2 balls, no strikes. Twins try to get that tying run into scoring position. They have Arcia waiting on deck. No sign of bunt there, and he'll take a strike. 2-1. Sanchez and Pelfrey have been hooked up in a really good pitching matchup tonight. These two teams wrap it up tomorrow, the finale of the 3-game series. And that game will feature Shane Green, Phil Hughes. Ooh, he missed again. Now it's 3-1. There's Arcia waiting on deck. Nunez led it off with a single. Little game of cat and mouse going on now between Sanchez and Escobar. In there, a strike, and now it fills a 3-2. Escobar last year had one of his best games in the big leagues, and it came against the Tigers last September when he had a 4-hit game and he knocked in 6.
Is that weekend series we came here and all those runs were scored?
Yep, that was it. And he was right in the middle of it. Runner goes on 3-2, and it's driven in the air deep into right field. Martinez on the run, still going back. It's up against the wall. That will score the tying run. In standing up is Nunez. It's a double and an RBI for Escobar.
Initially, Escobar was up there to bunt and didn't get the bunt down, and Sanchez threw him a changeup, and he jumped all over it right off the gate, and the runner was on the move, so they had no play at home plate.
So the first two reach here for the Twins. They've tied the game, and the Tigers bullpen will start to scurry. Here's Oswaldo Arcia with the go-ahead run at second base. 2-2 is our score.
And that's the first extra base hit of the game for the Minnesota Twins.
Swing and a miss, 0-1. Yeah, and we mentioned earlier that in the season series now, the Twins have only 7 extra base hits all year against the Tigers. They have not done a whole lot of that. Now Sanchez has to try and strand the go-ahead run. He's facing the bottom of the lineup here. Arcia cues one foul back out of play, 0-2.
For Sanchez here, you don't have to throw Arcia a strike to get him out. He will leave the strike zone. Don't make this too good a pitch. And he desperately needs a strikeout.
That dude held onto his ice cream cone and caught that ball barehanded.
Did he?
That's,
you got to keep your priorities in order.
Yeah, you do. Orsolani warming up. Swing and a miss. Arcia down on strikes. That's a start. 1 away.
He threw that ball right down the middle. And Arcia swept right through it.
Well, you're not kidding. Literally down the middle. So here is Kurt Suzuki. 5 strikeouts for Sanchez. Suzuki had a single in his last at bat. Driven foul back out of play, 0-1. Tigers now been out hit 7-3 in this game. Off the inside part of the plate, 1 ball, 1 strike on Kurt Suzuki. Sacrificed in his first at bat, singled. Looked like it might set up a run in the 5th inning, but they had Arcia thrown out at the plate. Ooh, up and in, and Suzuki buckles out of the way, 2-1. Sanchez's pitch count has been in such great shape all night that there was no need to get anybody warmed up, but now Gorzelani throwing.
Yeah, this is the most stress that Anibal has pitched in all evening.
Here's the 2-1. Ground ball back up the middle into center field, a base hit. Escobar rounding third. He will score, and the Twins have their first lead of the night. Suzuki's second hit. 3-2 Minnesota. Just out of the reach of the shortstop Iglesias. Here's Jeff Jones. Wilson now has joined Gorzelani in in the Detroit bullpen, the right-hander. Wilson's pitched a lot since coming up.
He has.
Hey, it is April in the D on Fox Sports Detroit. Visit the life-size bobbleheads of Detroit Tigers Victor Martinez and Ian Kinsler at the GM Renaissance Center in downtown Detroit. For more info on April in the D, visit foxsportsdetroit.com. 2 runs in for the Twins. They have their first lead at 3-2, and here is Jordan Schaefer. 8 hits now for Minnesota. Schaefer showing bunt, lays it foul. And then almost hit him in fair territory, and I think that's when Brad Ausmus is coming out to ask home plate umpire Dan Bellino about it.
From the third base umpire?
From Alfonso Marquez, but Bellino saying I saw it. No help.
Well, here's a look at it. Kind of tough to tell because that chalk is already gone, but he was still in the batter's box when that ball jumped up on him with a beard.
Yeah, I think it's a good call. 0-1 on Schaefer. Sanchez had a 1-2-3 sixth, was cruising along, then he was greeted by a single from Nunez and a double by Escobar. That tied the game. 1 out later, a single by Suzuki puts Minnesota on top. Stays high. 1 ball, 1 strike, and Sanchez all of a sudden now is up to 91 pitches. Meanwhile, Pelfrey, who's been so good all night, he's scattered only 3 hits, now has the lead.
It's been a lengthy sit down for Pelfrey if he's going back out there for the 8th.
Here's the 1-1. Lifted in the air, but foul. To the count. 109 is the Pelfrey pitch count. You think he might go off for the game?
It looks like he might go out. They got some bullpen activity going.
They had somebody warming up. He's pitched so well, Pelfrey. There are the numbers. He's retired the last 10 batters that he's faced.
In case you're wondering, as far as his pitches thrown, a career high. 125 for Pelfrey. He did that a couple of years ago. A few years ago.
Well, there's nobody warming up right now, so apparently he will go on the 8th. Fouled off. He just got a piece of it. Still only 1 out in this inning. That was the strikeout of Arcia. One-two is high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Anibal has had 4 separate 1-2-3 innings in this game. They've touched him up though for a couple of runs here in the 7th to go ahead. Pulled foul. 2-2. The count stays on Schaefer. Danny Santana. Schaefer with his speed, a tough guy to double up. But if he hits something hard enough on the ground up the middle with Iglesias and Kinsler, shot to turn 2. Nubs that one foul off the end of the bat. Schaefer, former Atlanta Brave, before he was acquired by the Minnesota Twins.
Anibal Sanchez about to throw his 24th pitch of this inning.
That's why the pitch count is approaching 100. 2-2 is lifted back out of play, so Schaefer continues to battle here.
Well, most of the hitters in the lineup tonight for Paul Molitor have really battled Anibal Sanchez. Not a lot of power hitters. Vargas not playing, Dozier not playing. Those guys swing and miss quite often. But he's got a lot of his table setters in there. A lot of guys batting left-handed. A lot of guys, at least left-handed, just trying to put the ball in play.
Swing and a miss. Finally got him. Schaefer goes down. 6 strikeouts for Sanchez.
That's a wicked breaking ball thrown at the back foot of Schaefer. Couldn't hold up on it.
Now you see it, now you don't.
It took 9 pitches to get him.
A 25-pitch inning so far for Sanchez. He has one more guy to get, and that would be Danny Santana.
Santana having a good series. A couple hits last night, 2 more today. He's got that average up to 250 now.
Didn't take long. He looks at strike 1. Santana singled in a run in the 3rd. He singled in the 5th inning. He also has a double and an RBI in the series. Suzuki at first base. In there for a strike. 0-2 on Santana. Now by inning for Sanchez as he reaches 100. 27 pitch 7th. Grounded foul. Tigers in the 8th will have Iglesias, Ghost, and Kinsler. They'll have the middle of the lineup at least once more in this game. Now there's some action. Casey Fiend, the former Tiger, warming up. Way high as Avila left the crouch. 1-2. Fastball away coming. And he missed with it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Three runs on 8 hits for the Twins, 2 runs on 3 hits for the Tigers. We're in the bottom of the 7th. There's a drive into right field over the glove of Kinsler. Suzuki is on his way to 3rd, and Santana having himself a night. He is 3 for
4. Santana's had some great at-bats tonight. Just short, easy, quick stroke. Good base running by Suzuki.
First and 3rd for Minnesota. That's their 9th hit in this game. And here is Torrey Hunter, who is 0 for 3. And 0 for 8 in the series. Trying to pad the lead for the Twins. Average now at 206 for Torrey. And he popped him in the air, right field. J.D. Martinez under it. And that'll take care of the Twins. However, they get 2 runs to go ahead for the first time tonight.
Here tonight against the Tigers, pitching 7 innings. Only gave up 3 hits to Tigers bats. He had an explosive 2-seam fastball that he ran inside on most of the batters all night long, and they really couldn't do anything with him. Fastball, cutter, split-fingered fastball, and a changeup. He dealt tonight.
One defensive change for the Twins. Shane Robinson has taken over for Arcia in left. Much better defender, and the new pitcher is Casey Feed in our wall side windows pitching chain.
He's been a staple in the bullpen for the Minnesota Twins the last number of years. His earned run average sits at 2.16 right now. He's a setup man to get the ball to Glenn Perkins, their closer.
So here come the Tigers now in the top of the 8th. They've got 9, 1, and 2 coming up. Iglesias, Ghost, and Kinsler.
Casey's got a fastball that will top out at about 94, but he's right around 90 to 91. He'll cut the fastball. He also has a slider.
Fiend goes to work, and his first one is in there for a strike on Iglesias, who didn't agree.
Casey comes right after you.
Two. Fiend has found a home here in Minnesota after pitching for the Tigers in 2009, 2010. The 0-2. Fly ball. Right field, straight at Torrey Hunter. It's 11 straight that have gone down now against Twins pitching. And an 0 for 3 night for Jose Iglesias. Here's Anthony Gose.
And they're still going to have to go through the teeth of the Tigers offense here if they're going to win the game.
Gose had a single to knock in a run. He also swiped the bag back at the 3rd. Bouncing ball to second. Routine play there for Escobar. 2 up, 2 down here in the 8th. So Fiend will now face Kinsler. Casey, 31 years old. Been in Minnesota now each of the last 4 seasons, counting this year. 73 appearances each of the last 2 years. That's a lot.
Rubber arm out of that bullpen.
Guys like that, very, very valuable. He slings one home outside to Kinsler. 1 ball, no strikes. 2 out of 5 in his career against Fiend with a home run. Low. 2-0. Tigers had 3 hits, a pair of doubles, Martinez and Cespedes, and a single, Anthony Gose. That was J.D. Martinez and Cespedes. Kinsler waiting on a 2-0. He caught him on the backswing, and Suzuki had the mask knocked off. Was that the ball that knocked it off? Here's a better look. Ball. Man, no bad at all there. Just the ball that knocked his mask off.
And it shook him up a little bit.
2-1. 3 balls, 1 strike. If he walks him, Miguel Cabrera is waiting on deck with the ability to put the Tigers back in the lead. Kinsler skies one in the air, shallow right center field. Schaefer calling and catching, and it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for KCP. Here comes the bottom of the 8th.
After the game for Tigers Live, I'll be heading into the clubhouse to chat with Brad Ausmus as well as Tigers players, get the thoughts of Anibal Sanchez about his outing tonight. And of course, Mickey York and Craig Monroe are in the Coliseum studios. Tigers Live after the game, hopefully after a Tigers comeback win, Mario and Ron.
That would be nice, Justin. Thanks very much. We look forward to that following the ball game here tonight. In the meantime, the Twins will bat in the bottom of the 8th inning. So it'll be Joe Mauer to start things off. Mauer and then Plouffe and then Nunez in the Twins 8th. And the first pitch bouncing in, 1 ball and no strikes. Outside windows pitching change. Blaine Hardy is in.
And Blaine's been in 6 games now. The earned run average is over 7. And that's what happens early in the year. If you're a reliever and you have 1 or 2 bad outings in April, it might take until June before you get the earned run average back down to a respectable area.
That one misses outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Two balls, no strikes. Mauer shoots one foul down the first baseline. Mauer has not been troubled at all by left-handers this year. He is batting a robust .351 against southpaws.
He has been killing them. He has turned into a Deadpool hitter these days. 7 here to right field, 11 up the middle. It used to be a time where Mauer hit exclusively to left field, but Tom Brunansky's got him pulling the ball a lot more these days.
Miggy going to have the pitcher covering, and they got it by a step.
They made that much more difficult play than it needed to be. That's a play that Miggy should have simply allowed Kinsler to catch, and I don't know if Miggy would have been able to get back to the bag because he was so far off the bag, but Blaine Hardy would have been there. It would have been an easier play for Ian Kinsler and Hardy to complete, but they got it done.
So it appears that Hardy is on to face just one batter. And he takes care of Mauer. Another pitching change. We shall return. Three to 2 Minnesota with the lead as we play here in the bottom of the 8th. Albuquerque is out of the bullpen now for Detroit, and he's going to face Trevor Plouffe here with 1 out, nobody on. Blaine Hardy got the only man he faced, and Plouffe looks at ball 1 outside.
Albuquerque, the last number of times he's gone out there, he's struggled. Last 4 2/3 innings, he's getting up 3 home runs. He's walked 5 and he struck out 4. And that's why the earned run average sits over 11 right now for Albuquerque.
He fooled Plouffe there, and the count evens at 1-1. 0 for 3 for Trevor Plouffe. Twins got the lead in the bottom of the 7th with a 2-run inning.
Right there. Stay there.
2 balls, 1 strike. Toward left center field, sinking, base hit. Trevor Plouffe is on with a 1-out single.
Albuquerque's been struggling with the slider. It appears to me that he's dropping the elbow to an area where he's not able to get on top of the slider, and he's not able to finish the pitch. A lot of the home runs he's given up lately have been because the slider stayed up in the strike zone. This slider, usually with 2 strikes, he's able to bury at the bottom of the strike zone, but not lately.
Yeah, that one looked flat.
Yeah. He hasn't had a good slider for a while now.
Albuquerque has maintained that health-wise, aside from the sinus infection he's been dealing with, his arm is sound. He's fine. Here is Nunez. Strike, no, ball one on Nunez. Missed it low.
It just looked like to me that he's dropping his elbow a little bit, which causes the arm to lag, and obviously you can't get on top of that pitch. And for Albuquerque, he has to finish that pitch out in front to get the depth that he needs.
Way outside, 2-0. The closer for the Twins will be coming in. He's been throwing in their bullpen, Glenn Perkins. Gonna have to deal with 3, 4, 5 when the Tigers come up in the top of the 9th. Ball high. So now it's 3-0. Nunez singled and scored a run in the 7th. It was the inning in which the Twins claimed their first lead of this game. In for a strike as Nunez takes a pitch, 3-1.
This next pitch, will give you an idea of what Albuquerque's dealing with as far as the confidence is concerned, because usually he would throw a slider. In this particular count, 3 balls, 1 strike. He would not give in with the fastball.
Runner going, and it's ball 4. Sorrell has given up a single and now a walk. And here comes Jeff Jones. You mentioned that word, Rod, confidence, and it just seems like it's not there for him.
Yeah, his body language is not great right now, but he's been there and he's done it. He's had a lot of success at this level, so it won't take much for him to get it back.
Meanwhile, Wilson is again throwing in the Detroit bullpen.
Well, the one thing that Detroit can't do, they can't let this game get away from them, especially with the Tigers 3, 4, 5 coming up.
So here is Escobar now with 2 on as Brad Ausmus gets on the horn to the bullpen.
And bullpen is ready, so Albuquerque has 1 more hitter if he loses Escobar.
Big double for Escobar in the 7th, knocked in a run. That tied the game. And he backs him out of there, 1-0. They have Plouffe at second base. They have Nunez at first. He'll look at a strike. 1-1. Swing and a miss.
There's a better slider.
Certainly a better result with it. One ball, 2 strikes on Eduardo Escobar. Two on, 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 8th in a 1-run game. Here's the 1-2. It gets away to the backstop. It rolls right back to Avila. He'll throw to third, not in time.
The ball went right through Avila's legs.
And then it rolled right back to him. Right through the wickets. Oh.
As a catcher, when you call for a fastball and the fastball is 92 miles an hour, and the pitcher bounces the fastball, you've got no chance at blocking it. You look for breaking balls to bounce, but you don't look for fastballs to bounce.
Infield is in now, and a 2-2 count. The runners at second and third. Ground ball to second. They're going to try and score the run. Kinsler comes home with it. Plouffe in a rundown now. Avila runs it back, and we'll tag him out. So the drawn-in infield saves a run, still 3-2. Escobar reaching on the fielder's choice.
And Trevor Plouffe just simply ran back to the bag, which was already now occupied by Nunez.
So Shane Robinson will get his first at bat. He came on as a defensive replacement for Arcia. With 2 outs now, the Tigers push the infield back. Robinson hitting .333. Bouncing ball foul, third base side. 0-1 on Robinson. Started last night's ball game, was 0 for 2 with a base on balls. Albuquerque trying to get the final out. Strand a couple of runners here in the 8th. Robinson signed as a minor league free agent from the St. Louis Cardinals. Spent parts of the last 5 years over in the National League with the Cardinals.
Well, he knows what winning is all about then.
No question about that. Here's the 0-1. In there, 0-2 on Robinson.
He's looking for a slider. I don't know why you would look for something that usually you can't hit, but that's exactly what Robinson was looking for there, because he took a fastball right down the middle.
Perkins is ready to go, their closer. It's just a matter of what the score will be when he comes in the 9th. Runner goes. The 0-2 is nubbed foul. Albuquerque now has thrown 17 pitches after coming in, and Hardy got the first out of the inning. He's given up a single and walk.
Cannot afford to give up a base hit here. Not after you've gotten ahead of Robinson. No balls and 2 strikes.
Up and in. 1-2 on Shane Robinson.
It's not a bad pitch, just in case Robinson was leaning out over the plate, looking for that slider.
Runner goes again. Checked it. Did he go? Did not. So it's 2-2. In the meantime, Escobar takes second base. Now a single would probably plate 2. Albuquerque trying to finish him off. Chopper foul. Tigers led 1-0, then 2-1, and then the Twins got 2 in the 7th to go ahead 3-2. Sanchez started this game and came out after 7 innings, giving way to the bullpen. Robinson trying to lengthen the lead. 2-2 the count. High, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Suzuki waiting on deck. Well, Al has gone from 0-2 to 3-2.
If he loses Robinson, Brad just might have to go get him.
In the air toward left. Cespedes lines it up, and that is that. So they threaten but do not score. Fasten your seatbelts. We go to the 9th. Glenn Perkins coming in to try and save it, but he's going to deal with Miggy, Victor, and JD. Heart of the order coming up as we go to the 9th. order up here. They've got Cabrera, Martinez, and Martinez, and if it gets that deep, you want Cespedes.
Talk about earning a save if you're Glenn Perkins.
Yeah, he's going to have to really, really buckle down for this one. As Cabrera leads it off, Miggy tonight is 0 for 3. Those 3 at bats against Pelfrey. Fiend came on for a 1-2-3-8, and now Glenn Perkins.
He's been perfect this year. He has 5 saves and 5 save opportunities. This is now his 10th game. He has 8 strikeouts and has not walked a batter. He's got a fastball, slider, changeup.
And Cabrera looks at ball 1.
He doesn't throw nearly as hard as he did a couple of years ago. There was a time where Perkins' fastball was being clocked at 97, 98 miles an hour with regularity.
Good numbers for Miguel against Perkins, over 300 career. And Miggy looks at a strike. 1-1. Perkins has 93 career saves, which is 6th all time on the Twins list. That one missed high, 2-1.
And nice job by Miguel laying off the elevated fastball.
Victor Martinez on deck. Miggy, a pop-up strikeout and a flyout tonight. Whistled back out of play, 2-2.
Couldn't lay off that one.
Next up on the all-time save list in 5th place for the Twins is Jeff Brereton. Another foul back out of play. Pelfrey started, was outstanding tonight for Minnesota. Then Fiend, now Perkins. You're going to bust him inside.
Better get it in there.
Drill to center field. Here's Schaefer coming over. 1 out. Fans, don't forget to follow the Tigers all season in 2015 with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. The bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or your tablet. So here's Martinez. Ooh, really good numbers. Homer, 353 lifetime. Victor is 0 for 3. Ground out, strikeout, fly out, and strike 1.
All fastballs to Miguel, and he starts Victor off with a fastball at 94.
Popped up, but this one will sail back toward the seats. Mauer runs out of room 2 or 3 rows back. 0-2 on Martinez. J.D. Martinez on deck. In the air toward left. Robinson comes in, 2 gone.
Here is our 1-800-CALL-SAM call of the game. Earlier in this contest, J.D. Martinez on a solid single off the bat of Danny Santana. Arcia was running from second base. He stopped at third, and then he tried to start the engine up again, and he was thrown out by 10 feet. 4th assist of the year by J.D.
Tied for the most of the majors. Right now he wants to help out with his bat. And he sends one in the air to center. Should do it. Schaefer is under it, and the Twins win game 2.
This game tonight was all about their starter, Mike Pelfrey, who outpitched Anibal Sanchez, and he shut down these Tigers bats.
Not an easy task. And they celebrate here in Minnesota with a 3-2 win, a 1-2-3 9th inning for Glenn Perkins, who earns the save. We'll be back to Minneapolis.